This is not a routine tariff tweak. This is a reset. The United States has slashed its reciprocal tariff on Indian goods from a punishing 50% effective levy to just 18%. And for Indian exporters, this changes the game. US President Donald Trump's decision marks one of the most significant shifts in India-US trade in years, one that directly hits prices, profits, and global competitiveness. So who gains the most? Which sectors win immediately? And why does this matter far beyond trade numbers? Let's break it down. At the most basic level, tariffs decide price. Take a simple example. An Indian exporter ships goods worth $100 to the US. At a 25% tariff, the landed cost jumps to $125. At 18%, it lands at $118. That $7 difference may sound small, but in export industries where margins are often in single digits, it can mean the difference between winning or losing an order. Exporters now have two choices: protect their margins or cut prices and outbid rivals. Either way, India becomes more competitive overnight. The biggest immediate winner: textiles and apparel. This sector lives and dies on price. Cotton garments, home textiles, made-ups. Indian exporters here compete directly with Bangladesh, Vietnam, and other low-cost hubs. The tariff cut narrows the pricing gap, especially in mid-value segments supplying large US retailers. For Indian manufacturers struggling with rising costs, this is instant relief and a chance to claw back market share. Next, engineering goods, India's largest export category to the US. Auto components, industrial machinery, electrical equipment, capital goods. These exports operate on razor-thin margins. Even a few percentage points in tariff reduction changes negotiation dynamics, especially during contract renewals and fresh orders. The tariff cut boosts India's standing against East Asian suppliers and gives exporters more pricing flexibility in long-term supply chains. Volumes may not surge overnight, but India's leverage just improved. In chemicals, the impact is more strategic than immediate. Specialty chemicals and intermediaries are governed by long-term contracts and strict compliance rules. Demand here doesn't swing daily, but margins do. Lower tariffs mean better net realizations. More importantly, this strengthens India's role in US supply chains looking to diversify away from China under the China Plus One strategy. India becomes not just cheaper, but safer. Then there's gems and jewellery. High value, high competition. Cut and polished diamonds, gold jewellery. Tariffs directly affect retail prices and inventory costs for US wholesalers. Dropping tariffs from 25 to 18% eases margin pressure across the value chain, making Indian jewellery more attractive in US showrooms. The IT sector doesn't benefit directly from tariff cuts because software falls under services trade, but the impact is real. Improved trade sentiment, warmer political ties, a more stable operating environment in India's biggest market. For Indian IT firms, this deal signals reduced friction, not new barriers. This shift matters even more when seen in context. In July 2025, the Trump administration imposed a 25% tariff on Indian goods, plus an additional 25% penalty. The reason? India's imports of Russian crude oil. That move sharply raised costs for Indian exporters and sent a warning signal. Today's rollback is not just economic, it's geopolitical. That's why US Ambassador Sergio Gore is calling this a new era in India-US relations. Speaking exclusively to India Today, Gore praised both President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, underlining the political will behind the deal. This is not a technical correction, it's a strategic alignment.
I've often said that India and the United States have limitless potential, and that is because of the leadership of President Trump and Prime Minister Modi. So we're very happy, we're thrilled with this deal. There's so many things ahead between our two countries, but tonight it's a great evening for both nations. This is a complex deal. As you mentioned, India is one of the most important and one of the largest economies. This is not a small country. To put it in perspective, the deal with the European Union, it took almost 20 years. So in the grand scale of things, this is not that long. But we're thrilled that we were able to get to this successful result. The Prime Minister has incredible leadership. The President truly considers him a dear friend. He actually extended an invite for him this evening to visit India once again. The President recalled his fond memories of visiting India the last time. And so that's something, when the President came back into office, he had a great relationship that was built upon previous years. And that relationship carried over many years, and it's something that will continue leading ahead.
Lower tariffs mean stronger exports. Stronger exports mean jobs, margins, and market share. And for India, this deal signals something bigger: access, leverage, and renewed momentum in its most important trade relationship. This isn't just relief, it's repositioning. With Rudrishish Kanjalal, Bureau Report, India Today Global.